And I
And then,
just,
because I can do it. Oh, I didn't realize I turned it on. I just turned it on. Hey, everybody. We were gossiping.
I didn't wear an Aloha shirt today.
Yeah, that's what looks different.
Well, the reason I didn't is I wore black for our LGBTQ brothers and sisters that were murdered and gunned down in Colorado.
Wasn't that terrible?
Uh, notice when they announced that Trump is running for president and that the Republicans took the House, that there's an increase in violence against us.
And Lauren Boebert from Colorado Springs loves to talk trash.
Correct. I thought she would lose, but I still see her out of office.
It's going to be when they come up with the January 6th stuff.
That's right. So just because she's not out of office now doesn't mean she won't be. I think notice how the violence increases against people of color, people of different religions, our Jewish friends, our Muslim friends, and our LGBTQ community when Trumpsters start spreading their poison.
Yeah.
But
here's a little bit of some good news.
I'm sorry.
Well, maybe I shouldn't say that.
I couldn't
The
hear
guy
you.
that did the shooting was taken down. He was taken down within minutes, and he already killed 5 people.
Right, by 2 people who were patrons in the club.
And they beat the crap out of him. They beat him up so bad, he's still in the hospital.
I hate to say I'm not violent, but I can see the karma in that.
I can see the fury in it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you've been going through your life already walking on eggshells because people are offended by who you are, and then this idiot comes in and just thinks he's going to run the show. It was more than those 2 people. It was a crowd of people beating him. If the cops hadn't come when he came, they probably would have found him dead.
Well, growing up in the South in the late 60s and early 70s, I remember cutting school for almost a month because I didn't want to go to school because I was in high school, because I was called sissy, faggot, queer, and beat up, all of that. And, you couldn't come out of the closet in those days because they thought you were sick. And it was just horrible. And to carry that, I'm not feeling sorry for myself, but then because I did cut school for almost a month, they said I was a behavioral problem, which I wasn't. I just was avoidance behavior.
Yeah.
So, it took me years to be able to say, here's why I did it. I just felt safe at home. And so I get it, that we've walked on eggshells all these years, and then somebody wants to start killing us. Give me a break.
This guy apparently is some Republican's grandson.
Well, I felt this was a hate crime. And if they say it's not, my guides are telling me it is. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, it is a hate crime.
It sends the message that people like Lauren Boebert have got to go. And they will go. And people are nervous about Trump because he's announced his candidacy. He's not going to win.
Not going to win.
I don't even know if he'll get the nomination.
So I don't think so either, but I'm going to sit down and take a real hard look at it. But listen, you guys, thank you for your questions. We got a lot of questions, my friend.
I've got one. Can I touch on first?
Sure.
Well, they're saying that McCarthy's going to remove the Dems from their committee.
Oh, yeah, Sawwell and
Ilhan Omar, House Foreign Affairs Committee.
Sawwell and Atticus. What's his name? Atticus.
Schiff.
I call him Atticus.
Adam Schiff. And then they're saying he's going to reinstate Marjorie Taylor Greene. But I think in order to do that, he has to have a majority vote of the House to remove them. And I keep seeing there's going to be some Republicans that are going to cross the aisle and work with the Democrats.
Even some people across the aisle that decide, you know what, we're done with this impeaching everybody stuff.
Right.
Let's work on the business at hand.
That's what
I'm saying.
Me too.
I don't see the group like this, like they get, let's get together and let's like how McConnell runs his ship.
Well, there'll be some of them that'll be like totally Trump's base, but I think a lot of them that were fearful of what Trump would do are not so fearful anymore.
Yeah.
But my question is, where were they to begin with? when they were doing that.
Right.
Anyway, excuse me. Debbie just brought me some tea. Can I have my straw? She
Yes,
just brought me some iced tea.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
I'll eat that in a minute. This is we're recording. We're on YouTube, but you can say hi. You'll be on YouTube.
Hi, Debbie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You guys have a good show. Happy Thanksgiving.
Could you
Happy
shut the door,
Happy
please?
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Welcome to
I'm
the.
cooking. I got a honey ham to take to my
Oh,
sisters,
those are so good.
and I'm cooking a turkey at home, and my sister's cooking turkey. So we're gonna go. No, she's not cooking turkey. She's cooking ham. So we're going to her house. I'm making the yams, and then my daughter and everybody's coming back to my house to stay. And I'm gonna go ahead and cook a turkey and have all the fixings. So they have stuff like Nicole can take stuff home with her.
We're going to Ohio, so I don't have to cook.
Oh, you don't have to cook? I'm sure you'll be in there though.
Oh, of course.
Because I could see Auntie Mel saying, no, this is how you do it.
Yeah, I do actually.
No, you know what you need to do?
If that were me, I would chop it this way.
Yeah, there you go. So here's a thank you from Ron. Will the repubes in Congress that were guilty of the January 6th wrongdoing be indicted and thrown out of the Congress? And I think we pretty much hit on that.
They will be indicted. But
I
here
see.
again, I don't know how it works, how they get replaced. I don't know if the governor of the state has to replace them with somebody from the same party, or if they can put in somebody from a different party. That I don't know.
Okay.
But I do see them gone.
Yeah, but I heard it's up to the governor. So if the governor's a Democrat, he can choose a Democrat. And we took a lot of governorships this time.
I don't know if they can do it that way. I thought they had to choose the party that was taken out. I don't
Or
know.
maybe they'll pick a more moderate one, somebody that's not a Trumpster.
Exactly.
Okay, so Kat is asking a question. She just listened to Sterling. And he mentioned that due to January 6th, some thugs may be in trouble, which is just what we talked about. Pace, Leah said, pace of seeing justice. I don't know what that means. From a new special counsel. What were you getting on the new special counsel?
I'm sorry, what did she say?
She's asking about the new special counsel. Will he bring justice?
The new special counsel?
Yeah, the new guy they put in, Jack.
I got you. The special prosecutor. Well, I'm glad they did that. I want to tell you why.
Why?
Because my guys have been telling me for a long time, before Merrick Garland's going to prosecute anything, he's just not going to throw, what on the wall and see what sticks. He's going to have something prosecutable. Okay. So
Right.
This special counsel is going to take his time. He's going to do the investigation.
But he's going to work faster than Merrick Garland did.
He'll work faster than Mueller. All right. But they've already got a lot of stuff.
No.
And also, I don't know if it's just for the documents in Mar-a-Lago, but he's going to start looking into the insurrection. So I think Trump thought that if Trump said he was going to run for president, that all this would go away. But it's not going to.
No.
It's not going to, because the January 6th commission, they're going to keep going until January. I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
But
What's weird is I sat down with my pendulum. I really concentrated before they even announced Jack. And I asked, when will we finally see some indictments? And the pendulum said January. And then right after that, they announced a new special counsel.
I don't know if it's January or February, but I see indictments. But what I see is going to happen is that then once the indictments and then the grand jury says, okay, that they can charge. It's one thing to be in. Well, I think you have to have a grand jury before you can do the indictment. But anyway, my point is that it's going to be like a lot of different charges against Trump.
That's what I saw.
But what he's going to do is he's going to try for a couple years to fight it in court, like he always does, and fight it and fight it and fight it, and the appeal, blah, 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 because then he thinks that, if Republicans win, he'll get pardoned, or if he's going to be president, that they can't touch him. Well, he better think again, because that's not what's going to happen.
Right,
My guides tell me that.
right, right.
I know what he's up to.
Right, yeah, and also with Garland, good for him. He realized that they're already talking about Merrick Garland impeaching him. And
But-
now if they pull him in, because his plan didn't have to do with a special counsel. The counsel plan came up after Trump announced he was going to run, and then Biden said he was going to run. And that leaves him in the middle, so he's hiring someone else to handle it. But that's why he did it. It was like, so when they call him in, he says, I can't answer that. It's in investigation.
You're right. But impeach just means to bring to trial in the Senate. Okay. But let's say they send papers of impeachment over for Biden and Garland. Guess what?
It's not
We
going to
still
happen.
have a majority in the Senate. And guess what? It's not going to go anywhere. And, if they do that, then a lot of Republicans are going to be like, what are you doing?
I know. That's why I was feeling they're not going to have everybody's support on this.
They're not. And you know what? If they try that, and if Trump is he's running, but I don't think he'll get the nomination for the party. If he does, they're idiots. But you know what? It's going to look really bad for Republicans in 2 years. It's not going to bode well for them.
Well, he's a 3-time loser.
Right. I mean, this, so they only took the House by 4 or 5 seats. But I look at it as a blue wave, not a red wave. Like we said, it wasn't even a pink trickle, But those states, look at those states that went Dem. And they did that because they didn't want the court saying that women do not have a right to choose.
Yes.
They
wanted democracy because they tried to talk Biden out of going that way. He said he went out and told everybody we need to think about democracy. And they're like, no, concentrate on this. And he said, no, we need to think. And people do not want you telling them if they can vote or not vote, or if they can have access to their own health care with their bodies.
Well, I think that Trump thinks if he's running, that because he's got McCarthy in his hip pocket, this is what my guides are telling me, that Trump is thinking that behind the scenes, he's going to run the House. It's not going to work that way. It's just going to be chaos. And Trump likes chaos and anarchy, but he's not running the House. And I think at some point, there's going to be people that are going to stand up to him.
Right. And that Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's already talking like she's in charge of everything.
Well, she's
and
not.
This is what we're going to do. And we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I've already addressed articles of impeachment.
Because she thinks
she's going on and on. And first of all, what's his face? McCarthy, if he's in there, he's not in there long. I think they're going to get tired of him letting everybody else run him over.
She actually thinks she's going to be Speaker of the House. Not going to happen.
No. So what about taking all these people off committees? Do you think they can actually do that? You said no.
Well, they have to have a majority vote of the House. And so they do have the majority, but I still think there'll be some Republicans that say, wait a minute.
No, we're not into that.
Bipartisan. It's not going to be like, I see a lot of Republicans reaching across the aisle.
Okay, good. Bob says, okay, so this is all kind of the same link. Will Jack Smith, chosen by Merrick Garland, will he finalize things and indict Trump? And yes, absolutely guaranteed.
But it's numerous indictments.
And don't forget, Mueller did a lot. He did a lot, but he was handcuffed by Trump's organization trying to stop him.
But at some point, that's going to come up to the forefront again. That's not over.
I know. I can see Mueller's paperwork being talked about in some committee.
Right. It's not over.
Barr held it for a week and then changed the language on it. And that pissed off Mueller. That's why Mueller went in and testified.
That's correct. That's right. But yeah, I see indictments, and the whole Georgia thing's not over yet.
Oh,
Herschel Walker, I don't think is going to win.
Herschel Walker's going to win.
I'm sorry?
Herschel Walker's gonna win.
You think Herschel Walker will win or
I'm
Warnock?
sorry. Not Herschel Walker, sorry.
The blood pressure just shot up like 50.
Warnick's gonna win. I'm so sorry.
Let me just do one thing. I got to call the front desk and tell them to turn the heat down. I'm like having a heat. I'm having
Okay.
it's
Okay.
hot. I don't know what they've got. This furnace works.
Was it cold last night?
Yesterday morning it was 17,
It was in the 26 here.
but today it's warmed up. But they've got the heat on out there, and it's really cranked up, and it's hot in here.
Yeah.
Can we just put this on pause so I can go turn the heat
Sure,
down?
sure. Hold on.
I'll be right back.
So, Haycrum Jeffries, will he be the new speaker? Will he take Nancy Pelosi's place?
You know, it's funny. If it is, it's temporary because I see a woman in that position.
Oh,
At some point, I see a female in that. I could be wrong, but I keep seeing a female in that position.
well,
And I'm thinking, I don't know if it's somebody of color or someone who.
oh, he's a man of color. He would be the first man of color to take that, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, because I felt somebody of color. And I like that.
Yeah, he's kind of a person that tells you what for.
Good.
He doesn't, candy coat it.
Well, I like that.
I predicted, I don't know if you did too, but I said she was going to step down. She's tired. She's not even going to run for office again.
But yeah, but she's still going to have a lot of power behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
She's not going to quit. People think that she did it because of the attack on her husband. I don't think that's it. I think that attack was meant for her, actually.
Oh, it was. The guy came in looking for her.
But you can't, she's not leaving because she's afraid. I don't see that. I don't believe that at all.
No, but when something like that happens, especially to your loved one, it feels so violated.
Well, yeah, it is. But that's going to send a message to these people in the future that might think about doing something like to a politician. Guess what? It's not going to work.
Well, it's interesting. Her house was on security cameras with Congress, with the police force in Congress, and they weren't watching. Here they go, dropping the ball again.
I don't think it was conspiracy, but I just think they just weren't looking.
Yeah, no, no, it wasn't conspiracy. It's just they weren't. I guess you get tired of looking at the camera 24/7. So Russia asked, will the Republicans have 218 votes in the House to impeach our president? Or will they fall short? He's not.
Okay, so the way it works is I think the articles of impeachment are drafted by the House, and you have to have a majority vote in the House to take them to the Senate. The Senate then will decide whether or not they want to bring it to the Senate floor. If they bring it to the Senate floor, that's like a trial. That's the impeachment. It's not removal from office. If the president is then found guilty, they're removed from office. But even if they bring it to the Senate, I don't feel that Schumer will bring it to the Senate floor.
No,
I don't see the impeachment.
I don't see Biden being, but okay, so they impeached Trump, but he wasn't removed because the Senate said no.
He was impeached, tried in the Senate, but there was not a majority. I think you have to have 60 to impeach, or 2/3. I think it's either 60 or 2/3. I forget. So they didn't have the majority to remove him from office.
Okay. Yeah, I bet McConnell wishes he had voted to impeach. Do you have any more questions, or?
Well, I just wanted to touch on this Sergei Surov. I don't know. They call him the General Armageddon in Russia. Surovikin, I think is his name.
Yeah.
And he's the one that pulled out of, I think it's called Kherson, that city in Ukraine, and they were, because he said they could regroup the troops in other places. And there was a television commentator there, Margarita Simonyan or something. She's the editor-in-chief of KTTV, And she's a public proponent of this General Armageddon, this Sergei guy. And here's what she said: "We await your brilliant results and pray for you. I pray for you every day." She's praying for a murderer.
Jesus Christ.
So I see Sergei gone,
Okay, good.
gone.
Taken out then.
Yes, something. And that reporter, I see her, once things in Russia change, you know, she's going to end up standing trial, maybe like a Tokyo Rose or like something like that. So it's not going to be pretty for them.
Right, right.
And there's a bitter cold winter coming in Ukraine. And the Russians don't have enough food or clothing for their soldiers. And so,
because I knew it was going to be tough in Ukraine too.
It's going to be tough on Ukraine, but it's going to be equally as tough on Russian soldiers. Because when Putin was, and I got this firsthand from people who are in Russia, when he was telling people you have to go in the military, he's telling them, bring your own food, bring your own clothes.
I know. Bring your own warm clothes, bring your own sleeping bags.
Correct. So what does that tell you?
There was some wonderful musician that was being jailed in Russia, and he was killed. He was forced to go in the military. I don't even think he was Russian.
Right. Well,
And he was a great musician.
I see a lot of Russian soldiers joining Ukraine.
That's already happening.
Well, there's a lot more of that. My guides told me that. So
this is an interesting question from Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. She wants to know, when you pray, whom should you pray to? I'm always asking Archangel Michael. I just seem to resonate with him, but I feel like I should also include Jesus, God, Ascended Masters, good ETs, Mother Mary, etc. Do prayers get through to whom it needs to be regardless? Thank you.
Well, I look at it as all one spirit. They're just all part of one spirit. So whether it's Blessed Mother, whether it's Archangel Michael, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Mohammed, whether it's whatever, it's all one spirit. So you're really praying to spirit.
Right. Well, you're praying to that vibrational realm just right outside of your physical
Correct.
body.
So I don't think it really matters.
And ye are gods. Everybody has the abilities. Each of us has a little piece of that DNA.
Right.
And so, like with me, when I went through cancer and I was begging for help because I didn't want to die because my boys were little, that man said in my right ear, "What are you doing? You know there's no such thing as death." Well, and I felt so embarrassed. And I gave my life over. I said, "Into thy hands I commend my spirit." So basically, it's letting it go of that human part. It's like we have ego, we're stuck, we're always overthinking. If you hand over your troubles and you stand in faith and don't keep obsessing, it's wonderful what happens.
Right. And your work wasn't done.
Right.
I've got a good question. This is a good one.
What?
Jill Hodges wants to know. Blessings to you and Linda. Thank you, Jill. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Stay safe. You two are wonderful. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Linda paid me to say that.
Yes. The check's in the mail.
Yeah, right. Heard that one before. There's another part to that joke I can't go into right now. Anyway, I like this. I'm wondering when that other news network will have to change from their news to entertainment platform. Notice how Trump is going after them.
Well, yeah, because they turned on him.
It starts with an F.
That's
okay. So he's announced that he's running for president. Now, before he kind of had them kind of in his pocket. But now that he's turned on them, where's that going to go?
Oh, everybody's turning on Trump right now.
Well, he's insulted the media. So guess what? So I've always said that I see that organization coming more toward the center.
Down the road, yes. Well, Murdoch did his New York Times post or New York Post that said a guy in Florida announced he's running for president. See page 26. I mean, he is slapping Trump upside the head big time.
Because Trump went against Murdoch. And so, and my guides told me that what happened, and here we are.
Here we are.
Anyway, I thought that was a good question. So go
But
ahead.
you know what? They all on the bandwagon for this, what is his name? DeSatan. DeSatan has less of a chance in winning than Trump.
Agreed.
DeSatan's out in Oz, and yeah, he's adored in Florida, but other people are looking at him saying, wait, you're going to take books out of schools, you're going to make teachers, you're going to tell women they can't do this, they can't use the word gay.
Can't use the word gay. Can't read Catcher in the Rye. When I was in high school, we had to use that. Can't read To Kill a Mockingbird. Those are classics. What is he doing?
Mark Twain, yep.
Oh yeah, Mark Twain. Why not Mark Twain? Hello.
Yeah, well, you know, he's a little Napoleon.
He's a
He's
goof.
even short like Napoleon. with those patent leather white boots. I need me a pair of patent leather white boots.
Maybe he's got some sugar in his gas tank.
Well, Trump has some stuff, some intel on him, and trust me, this will come out.
Oh, it's gonna come out big time. It'll be interesting. I want to eat popcorn, drink Coke, and watch that movie.
There you go. Snort Coke. What do you mean snort Coke?
Yeah, I said drink Coke, not snort.
Oh.
Eat Coke. I mean, eat popcorn, drink Coke, and watch the. No, you snort the popcorn.
Here's a good question. Somebody said they've asked us several times. Thank you so much. I have a question that I posted so many times on different channels with no answer. So I was hoping I could get it from either one of you. The question is, what can you tell me about oh, this is a personal question. Yeah, we don't do personal questions on this. Sorry. You know, come on when we answer. Do you ever do a YouTube where you answer people's personal questions? My members, I do. For my members, I'll answer.
Well, when I get enough members, I'm going to.
Okay.
But I don't have enough members right now. But then at some point, I will. You know.
Okay.
But you have to be a member for at least 2 or 3 months to do that, because what some people do is join for a month and then they don't stay members.
Yeah. So
Got one from Lupe Abela. This is a good one. What's ahead of the Democratic Party?
that's going to take over. In fact, they got to be careful about their ego. Remember, I talked about that they're going to get so powerful. In fact, in 2024, it's going to be even more powerful because yet another Democrat will win as president. And I just see that people, as long as the Republicans are on this, let's impeach, don't say the word gay, don't, abortions, forget about it, 6 weeks, we don't care if you were raped. As long as that language is there, they're going down.
Well, I see the Democrats taking more of the offensive role,
Okay.
not to be, you know, like in football, the offense, as opposed to the defense. And I see them talking more about economic issues as well as social issues. And the other thing is the Republicans are going to try to cut funding to Ukraine, the ones in the House, but there will be other Republicans in the House that'll reach across the aisle because Americans want to fund Ukraine. Most of us do. And so, you know, I see the Democratic Party becoming more forceful, more outspoken.
Well, that Hakeem Jeffries, he's very outspoken.
Right. Not obnoxious like Trump, but outspoken against injustice and things that we need to really curb and talk about. You know, I'm going to tell you, I keep saying this, who I'm going to tell you is going to be president is that governor, the guy that was just elected as governor of Maryland. He's going to be president one day.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. I'll have to look him up.
Yeah, I can never remember his name, but the guy is amazing.
Wow.
And he'll serve 2 terms.
Wow, I got to look him up.
Yeah, he's going to be amazing.
Is he young?
Yeah, here, let me look up his name real quick. Governor elect of Maryland. All right. Here, hold on a minute. I can tell you. Wes Moore.
Okay, I'll look him up.
He is absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Here, this is him.
Oh, I think, is he the progressive?
He's a Democrat. And I can see he's 44.
Okay.
And he went to Valley Forge Military Academy, Johns Hopkins University. The guy is as smart as no tomorrow. University of Oxford. And I'm telling you, he's going to be president someday.
Okay. Awesome.
In our lifetime.
Good, good. I got about 2 more years.
Yeah.
So somebody, Carol asked, will we ever see Trump's tax returns? I do see us seeing it, but it's like after the fact. It's after he might even croak by then, but that I do see it.
Because what's going to happen is in New York, those tax returns are going to come out to show how he falsely inflated those profits. And that's a civil suit. But I also see the criminal case against him going forward in New York. They'll get a new prosecutor.
So,
and in Georgia.
Oh, yeah, Georgia, he's in big trouble.
And that's going to be Lindsey Graham's Waterloo, Georgia. You mark my words. He thinks he's flying high now because the Republicans are going to be in control of the House. He ain't.
No, he's in the Senate, right?
He's in the Senate. He's a senator, but still.
So, what do you think about Elon Musk with Twitter? He told Trump, okay, you're back open. And Trump said, no, thanks. I like where I'm at.
I had that written down. Musk and Twitter lifted ban on Trump, right? And Trump's like, nope.
Well, he's got his people to answer to, his stock people who have invested in Truth Social. And they don't want him to go into Twitter and having people from Truth Social jump over there.
Well, Trump's network's not going to make it. I don't see. Nothing Trump does, everything he does kind of goes bankrupt or belly up. But anyway, I see that Twitter is going to be in huge financial trouble. Somebody just sent me an article, it was obviously some conservative Republican that wrote this article about, he let all those people go and he's cutting the costs and, he's going to make it profitable. And I'm like, wrong. He's killing it. I mean,
he's not right in his head. Look what he's doing to Tesla.
Oh, I know. He's going to drive Twitter in the ground.
That's what the cards always said when I looked.
It's going to be a Titanic, and then nobody's going to want to buy it. But I see another platform coming out if it's not out already.
There is another one that's supposed to be starting up.
That's going to
the guy that originated Twitter.
That's going to go above and beyond Twitter.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, remember years ago, they had MySpace or something and everybody was doing it. And then all of a sudden Facebook came out.
Right. I like MySpace better because you could put music on.
Yeah, I remember that. But that's the same thing that's going to happen with Twitter. There's going to be something else coming along that's going to outshine it. And Elon Musk is going to take a hit big time on Twitter.
Big time, big time. And then, but see, you even have the White House and big names going through Twitter. They may drop him and go through the new one. So that makes sense.
You're right about that. You're absolutely right. And he's not going to do that well with Tesla. He's going to try to sell Tesla because a lot of people don't like Elon Musk and they won't buy Teslas.
That's what people were saying on Twitter. I sold my Tesla. It was a piece of crap.
Well, whoever buys it, I don't know. But the one good thing is I see electric cars really taking off in the future.
Oh, yes, definitely. But my son has a hybrid and he wants electric. He used to talk about buying Tesla, and I said, I won't help you if you buy a Tesla.
The only problem with electric cars, they only go about 350 miles, but I do see really big changes coming in battery technology, so you can charge them quicker and they can go further.
Yes.
But
yes, even Sterling on our show yesterday said that it's about 10 years away, but you won't even really have to charge cell phones.
Probably not. They can
more solar. Yeah.
Solar. It's funny. I normally watch, but I was working yesterday. Yeah, and I'm working today. I'm at work.
Okay.
Because we're leaving Ohio. We're going to go.
Kimberly wants to know, the Federalist Society, is it connected to the Freemasons?
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
Thank you.
You know, I have to say something about the Freemasons.
Sure.
My dad was a Mason, 32nd degree. My stepfather was a Shriner. I never joined the Masons, but it's not all that conspiracy BS that a lot of these QAnon come up with. It has nothing to do with the Federalist Society whatsoever. The Masons are not political. They do a lot of good work for communities. And, you know, in fact, to be a Mason, it's expected of you to pay it forward to the community. Like the Shriners, for example, all those Shrine hospitals, those are for kids that, you know, that were born years ago, kids that were crippled or kids with, you know, disabilities. And those kids were treated for free. They still are if they can't afford it.
Yeah, the Shriners, yeah.
Absolutely. So the Shriners is like the Masons are here, and then there's the Shriners, the Scottish Rite and York Rite, but with the Shriners. You know, so those whole organizations, and the women's version is the Eastern Star, they do really good works for the community. So they have absolutely nothing to do with the Federalist Society. Nothing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering.
Now,
that.
I'm not an expert on the Masons because I'm not one.
Right. So
But-
here's a good one, my friend. You and I need to work on this.
Uh-oh.
BBs, the person who murdered the 4 college students in Idaho. Did you
You
get a
know,
hit on that?
I hadn't heard about that case at all, but I'll have to look at it and see like how they were murdered or whatever, and then I can get a hit on. Oh, they were stabbed? Were they
In
they
different rooms, and it was 4 of them.
was it like in a dormitory or
Yeah.
something?
No, they were all renting a house, I think.
I think it's the work of a serial murderer. It's a male.
It's definitely a male, but I wasn't feeling serial murder.
It's almost like a Bundy sort of thing. And there are going to be, you know, sometimes if somebody's stabbed to death and then over here somebody stabbed to death and over here, it's hard to piece together serial murderer. But I'm telling you, I hope I'm wrong, but there's going to be more.
Did he know these people?
I think like a
I
known
think the police know who it is.
a known stranger almost, you know, to some of them. But this person, I would say probably around age 27 or 28, I see somebody taller, like right around 6 foot, very squared off facial features, darker hair, more of like a tone build, you know, not Sylvester Stallone going to the gym infusing steroids look. I see the person is going to be caught. My feeling is the police got some DNA or something. I don't know how that would happen.
Sometimes when the knife is bloody, it'll slip and it'll cut the person. And their
Well,
DNA will get mixed
well,
in.
they're withholding certain facts.
Okay.
I don't know.
Person will get caught. Just like I knew the guy on the Delphine or the guy on the railroad thing. I said he's going to get caught.
I'll have to look that up. That just hit me while I was talking to you.
Right. Well, like I was telling our friend Ron from Intangible Quest, the time that I was sitting here and people were saying, what happened to Gabby? And I didn't know who she was, just like you, which is probably better.
Right.
And I said, Gabby. So I looked on my phone and I saw her face. And I said, oh my God, she's dead. He killed her. And he's going to kill himself.
Yes.
And bada bing, bada boom, that was it. And that's when you get the good hits.
I kept seeing him with brown and green swirls on that case. And whenever I see that, it means water. And I kept saying, he's in water. He's in water. And I was like, he's in Florida where I see palm sand, but he's in water.
Yeah, there was a bullet hole in his skull.
Well, he committed suicide, but his body was underwater for a while. I guess the place
Right,
flooded.
because the water started coming up. Exactly.
But this co-ed case, they will find the murderer.
Yes, it's just so terrible.
Oh my God, it's
so
horrible.
Scary.
But
Poor babies.
that perpetrator acted alone.
Yeah, I was feeling that too.
Right.
I don't feel another person.
No.
Because it's like, how does somebody kill 4 human beings like that? But I felt like he was enraged, and he almost like, I'll show you, that kind of energy.
Well, after working on cases as long as I did, sometimes it's sexual in nature. Like a person like Bundy, he would kill these women. Sometimes he would rape them, sometimes he wouldn't after they were dead. And it's a sexual thing. I know it sounds sick, but they kind of
Yeah, but he killed them.
somebody.
He killed 3 females and a male.
I'm sorry.
He killed 3 females and a male.
Oh, these
And it
co-eds.
was very good friends that hung out together.
Well, that sounds like rage to me. It
Yeah,
really-
that's what I was getting.
That depends on how many times they were stabbed, but that sounds like rage. Just like the case we were talking about before. And I'm gonna ask her psychic input on it. We're just gonna do something like this, and it's gonna go on Inside the Paranormal. That's gonna be my first case. But that case I always felt was rage as well.
Yeah. So here's a good question. Will Justice Alioto suffer consequences for being such a cat? For leaking the Supreme Court's decision on the Hobby Lobby case? He's a leaker.
He's a leaker. Sounds like he's got a prostate problem.
Will
That
he
was a
ever,
weird joke. That was a really bad joke.
will he ever come to justice?
Well, if they leak a case, they really didn't do anything illegal.
Yeah.
But I will.
But it makes that already the Supreme Court is looking bad.
Well, I'm going to tell you who I see off the court, and that's Clarence Thomas.
Yes.
And I also see Kavanaugh. Gorsuch, I think, will stay on.
They said wait for it. They're saying wait for it.
Alito, I think if he's smart, he'll just retire.
Yeah.
But he knew what he was doing when he leaked this stuff. But what I do see coming is term limits for those judges, but
That's what I see coming.
A set of rules and laws that they have to abide by.
Right. Well, they had a picture. They were showing that thing like they do with all the justices sitting together, like they're filming them like a home movie. And that every once in a while, someone would look at someone and say something, and they're smiling to the camera. And Kavanaugh was like,
Yeah.
But that new justice of ours, she's very small compared to the rest of them. And the look on her face was just amazing. She was not happy. She almost had a look like, I'm in here with these crazy people.
Well, I see that dynamic changing. I see different judges on the court that are at least more of middle, the center of the road. And that the ones that won't let their personal ideology cloud their decisions for the court. And that's the way it should be.
Right.
Alito probably, I think he leaked that on purpose. Of course he did.
Right.
But I see him go on.
Yeah, well, I'm also feeling I could be Alito, Justice Roberts. I'm almost sensing some of them are thinking, well, in 2024, if we get a Republican, we'll go ahead and step down, a Republican president. But when they get yet again another Democrat, they may step down anyway. And not Alito, but Roberts may. I almost felt Roberts has thought several times about leaving because his reputation is so messed up right now. He has no respect.
He was kind of against the whole overturning Roe v. Wade thing, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen, somebody did ask, do we have enough in the Senate to codify Roe versus Wade? If we get the 51, then we only need 9 more.
You have to
And
have.
they said Susan Collins would do it, Lisa Murkowski.
Well, they passed the thing with gay marriage. It went through the Senate. Now it's got to go back to the House. But I don't know if it codified gay marriage. I don't know exactly what it did, but there was some caveat.
It'll pass in the House. I don't care about those ugly people.
Well, it will. Let me look and see. But at some point, I think you have to have 60, unless they can do a nuclear option. But at some point, Roe v. Wade will be codified. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it will. And the other thing, I'm feeling strong on is DACA. I feel DACA will be dealt with, maybe even before this new Congress comes in.
Let's see. The only thing I'm looking at the gay marriage codifying, but I know it'll pass, but I don't think I think there's some caveats to it. I forget exactly. But I do see Roe v. Wade codified. Yes, absolutely. Because really it was never law. It was just a decision by the Supreme Court.
Right.
And a lot of those other laws that Clarence Thomas wants to overturn, like women's right to contraception and stuff, I see those codified as well.
Right.
So
listen, Katie Hobbs and Carrie Lake. Arizona's not stamping it yet. That Katie Hobbs. And apparently, what's her face wants a recount, a hand recount. But I still see Katie Hobbs getting it.
It's just because the other one that wants to secede, she's just a sore loser. Katie Hobbs will get it. You know, and I wrote this down today before we started talking. I wrote the word secession, and there's going to be a few states that are going to even talk about seceding. But if they do that, that's illegal. That's unconstitutional. So then the president or the federal government can go in and arrest those governors if they say they're going.
Oh, she talked about it. She said when they went into Mar-a-Lago, the FBI, mark my words, you know how she loves to do this. When I'm governor, I'm going to have Arizona secede from the union.
Well, then she would be arrested because she would be breaking federal law, and you can't do that. It's illegal.
Right.
But, you know, I think in some of those states like Texas and Florida, you know, they're going to try and some of those southern states are going to try their own form of secession, but it's not going to work.
Not going to work.
Nope. That's what my guides tell me.
Yeah. We got our red states, but there's more of us than there are of them.
That's true.
More reasonable people, even good Republicans. I'm looking forward to seeing a good Republican again.
Just because people are Republicans doesn't make them bad people.
No.
You know, and I'm not one to
It's the cray craze, the QAnon.
It's
that energy.
It's a QAnon Trump-Lincoln cray craze that are like, you know, they're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right. But listen, you guys, it's always a reason. There's always a reason why. So
Well,
don't lose faith.
I think the reason is for the rest of us to speak up and really be on the offensive, saying we will not tolerate bigotry. We will not tolerate xenophobia. We will not tolerate any of this. I mean, they're really picking on, you know, McCarthy is really picking on Ilhan Omar because he said she's anti-Semitic, which the person is not. And she came back and just said that, you know, once again, they're playing on people's fears. There's xenophobia and Islamophobia. And she said, ultimately, it won't work. And it won't.
I'll be so glad to see Marjorie Taylor Greene gone. She was so ugly the way she walked around and harassed people.
Oh, and she put denigrating signs across right next to the office of some of these people.
Yeah.
Who were like Muslims.
Like a child, like a school kid.
Oh, if somebody did that to her, she'd be the first to holler.
Oh, and then when the president gave his speech to Congress, that her, Bobart, and Marjorie Taylor Greene were squealing and saying negative things to the president from the stands like they were in high school.
You know what? They're going to be gone. I didn't think Bobart would win, but
I didn't either.
But it was.
But maybe we're picking up that they're not winning. Maybe we're picking up this too shall pass, that they're not going to hold their seat long enough.
She didn't win by very much, did she?
No, 500, I think.
Well, maybe they should recount.
Yeah. Jesus.
You know, Bobart, all about, you know, babies, Bible, and guns.
Somebody asked, Gina asked, how do you access the Akashic records?
How do you what?
How do you access the Akashic records? I have no clue.
Well, people call it accessing the Akashic records, but anytime you get, you know, here's what I teach in my classes. Intuition or psychic thing is that first thing that comes through, that first feeling, that first thought. It might be visual, it might be inner voice.
Like, should I eat that eclair or should I just let it sit? My first response is to eat it.
My first response is, I'm chomping that down. But then your intuition might say, well, you really should.
Yeah. Have you looked at your thighs lately?
Yeah, right. Have you looked at like your cholesterol or whatever? Right. You know, the others go. So, I've never been one to get hung up in so much the verbiage, like, oh, I'm accessing the Akashic record. It just means to just really hook in psychically, in my opinion.
Yeah, but there's some people, I guess, mentally they feel like they're there and they're reading. I mean, those records are there. I know those are for real. But
Well,
they say
I'm not saying
all the
I'm
secrets of
I'm
beauty.
not saying they're not for real,
Right,
but
but I think us as humans really you got to be careful about that because I don't think some things need to be delved into.
correct. But I think anytime we get a psychic hit on something, if you wanted to really be liberal enough with it, you could say, yeah, I just accessed an Akashic record.
Right. Well, the other thing too, like I was just telling a client I had today, past lives, sometimes people will go along and out of the blue at the age of 27, they have a dramatic fear of something.
Correct.
Fear of flying, fear of water, fear of this. And I always tell them, we carry in our spiritual form, like cocoon, that light form within you, which is your spiritual form. We carry the DNA or the records of all the other lives we've been through. And certain things at a certain age will be pretty significant. And
Right.
sometimes it causes that out of the blue. Why all of a sudden it's because it's something that happened to you. Even
Sure.
women that all of a sudden, are afraid of giving birth. They probably lost a child in life or they died in childbirth and a lot of it is past life related.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I got a good question. This is good. 129 OLI says, will the U.S. expand its scope of railway electrification? And I see that as yes. I see a lot of monorail, things like that. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then her next question is, when will 45 fade away from the public? I think it started already.
I know I've been getting emails from beautiful people that I know that said, once he came out and announced he was going to run, I could feel that panic feeling inside. Like, dear God, please don't make me go through this again.
Well, the best thing that could happen to Donald Trump is for him to hold rallies and hardly nobody attends.
Yeah.
That's where I see it going. I mean, with his overinflated ego.
Yeah.
It's going to keep getting struck down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do one more question.
Okay.
And then I got to do Thanksgiving shopping.
Yeah, right. Me too. Okay. I didn't know about this one, but Stephanie Craig says, hi, Mel and Linda, could you look and see what's going on with MSNBC and the Tiffany crossfiring? Is it just because she spoke out against Tucker and Megyn Kelly?
No, she said something else. It was sort of inappropriate. I was shocked she said it. I can't remember what it was.
I don't think it had anything to do with she spoke out against Tucker and Megyn Kelly. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, one more. Okay. Denise Stahl. This is a good one. My daughter is struggling. Will the student loan forgiveness ever happen? Her rent, like that of so many others, has gone up $600 in the past year. Other places have done the same. I see what they're going to do is stop charging such high interest on student loans. And my guides tell me there's more programs coming out, like for student loan. Once you're out of school, if you work in a field akin to what you've studied for at least, 4 to 5 years with a minimum of 2 years, then a big chunk of that loan is forgiven. That's what I see coming.
Okay.
So I do see some help for the people that are paying exorbitant interest rates.
Yeah, I see them making it more reasonable.
Yeah, like down to 1 or 2%.
Yeah, I thought the highest would be 4%. That's what I picked up.
Exactly. So anyway, that's what I see coming.
Thank you, my friend.
It's been fun. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, and let's bring peace to the world. Let's
I have to say
pray
hi to
for
my
peace.
family in Kentucky. I have to say hi to Linda's family, Deb and Vinny and everybody. And I'm looking forward to visiting Mitzi and Howard and Jackie and Matthew and the 2 additions to the family, Jasmine and I think Indigo.
Oh,
I'm really excited. And Pankaj.
and I get to see my grandson and my daughter, Nicole.
Oh, tell them I said hi, your daughter.
Yeah.
She's my buddy. Your daughter's my buddy.
Isn't she wonderful?
She's a sweetie, Nicole. She's
Yeah.
a sweetie. All right.
All right, my friend. Mazel tov.
All right. Bye.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.